Hi, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to my social pathology video, by which you understand underlying mechanics of social problems, and also by which you can reconfirm your life direction to attain true happiness on this planet Earth. This time, I would like to discuss Kyoto Animation Arson case, in which 36 people were killed by fire. My name is Dr. Samurai, a professor specialized in international social pathology and also an active prison counselor of 20 years experience. As usual, first half I would like to provide you brief general information and then like to move on to our main discussions. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. I know there are many animation fans all over the world who know this Kyoto Animation Arson case, which happened in July of 2019. This perpetrator, Shinji Aoba, at the time who was 41 years old, brought in a full tank of gasoline into a three-story building of Kyoto Animation office. He poured the gasoline on the first floor and lit the fire. Inside the building, there was a spiral stairway leading up to the third floor, and on that third floor, there was another stairway leading to the rooftop of the building. As soon as he lit fire, the fire built up like a huge pillar because of the inside space that all the way up to the highest floor. Out of the 36 people who were killed, 20 of them were found dead at the stairway that leads to the door to the rooftop of the building. They were found on top of each other, those 20 people. It was inferred by an expert that because of the smoke filling inside the building, especially higher up, they couldn't even see the door and the stair steps. Regarding that arsonist, Shinji Aoba, he allegedly set the fire believing that the works he submitted to the office, two of them, were rejected, but their contents were stolen. So he said he did all that to revenge for the Kyoto Animation having stolen his ideas, which was clearly denied by the Kyoto Animation. He was born in 1978 in the middle of three siblings, one older brother and one younger sister. His father, a taxi driver, was known to be a womanizer, and before he got married with Aoba's mother, he was married with a woman with 6 children. He deserted all those 6 kids and ex-wife to get married with Aoba's mother. However, that the second marriage didn't last long either. And when Aoba was third grader, they got divorced. And it is allegedly said that his mother hated his father so much, so she simply disappeared, not caring about the three kids at all. After that, father and the three kids lived together in the apartment house. After the divorce, his father was not working, living like a kept man on a woman he had relationship with in those days. So, in a simple word, he was badly neglected in those elementary school years. As a little boy, he already loved reading cartoons, which supposedly led to later case with the Kyoto Animation, in short, Kyo Ani. One of his friends in the elementary school says he remembers he was lured by Aoba into shoplifting many times because his father was not working, his family was very poor, and he was always wearing the same clothing, and his house was filled with the trashes, and he didn't even have the money to buy snacks. So he habitually shoplifted at the supermarket and convenience stores. Physically, he was a big boy, and he was already like 5'7" in when he was sixth graders. But when in the second year of his junior high, he suddenly disappeared from the school. The whole family practically ran away under the cover of night, including 8th grade Aoba. Nobody in his class in junior high didn't know his whereabouts, and the teacher in charge of his class didn't even know what happened to Aoba. And most of the students said they don't even remember Aoba. He was that quiet. Later, it is confirmed that he entered evening high school. Although he was not that outstanding, it was not like he was the target of the bully. After his graduation from the evening high school, he started to work as a part-timer for a prefectural government office. Then he changed his jobs on and on and on. However, there was a dramatic incident. The father, who was not working when he was a student in elementary school and junior high school, it looks he started to get back to his taxi driver business, but he was involved in a big car accident and couldn't drive taxi anymore. Because of this, when Aoba was 21, his father committed suicide. It is allegedly reported that he died not by hanging, but by cutting his neck or stabbing his stomach or something like that, because huge amount of blood was confirmed on the room floor. Not long after, his younger sister allegedly committed suicide. Although when those two suicides happened, he was living away from his father and his younger sister. Became a highly tragic incident psychologically to his mind. After that, his life started to lose balance. He was arrested for stealing female underwear, and also he was arrested by robbing a convenience store and stole $200 or so. For that, he went to prison, although incarceration of 3 years and a half. It is alleged during those incarceration years, he was writing the novels, two of which could have been sent to Kyoto later on. When he was 38 years old, he was released, but he was already mentally lost, causing a lot of troubles with his neighbors. There was an incident reported that suddenly the door of his apartment house was opened and he came out and grabbed the next neighbor who was trying to enter his own apartment, and he said, "I'm gonna kill you because I ain't got nothing to lose." So he was clearly losing his mental balance, and the kind of life of mental imbalance led to Arson incident of Kyoto. Although over 90% of his body were burned, he miraculously survived. After he was saved, he reportedly said, "Oh, I could speak. I thought I couldn't speak anymore. And there's still someone who could work so hard on me for the recovery." And he allegedly cried the whole day. His main doctor told him, "We devoted ourselves to your operation, so you must live to face what you committed straightforward and honestly." And he said he is now regretting wandering away from the course he was supposed to follow. And now he is sincerely admitting the arson crime he committed, saying, "I'm going to be hanged anyway." This is pretty much the general information about Kyoto Animation arson case and the very perpetrator, Mr. Shinji Aoba. So what can we learn from this? He committed his crime believing that his stories were stolen by the Kyoto office from the works he submitted, but were rejected. He also mentioned some things that were clearly detached from the reality. So there is a doctor that asserts he may have a schizophrenia, but forensic doctors concluded he could stand in a trial as a person who could take responsibility for what he did. Why did all these things happen? It cannot be denied that he had strong, rigid, subjective fantasy or delusion that led to his belief that his stories were stolen. and made him commit the revenge. By the way, he is alleged to have said that he did not know he would kill as many as 36 people. He was expecting around a few people at the time. So it was beyond what he was planning. But based upon all those neighborhood troubles and strong delusional thinking, and the fact that he actually committed arson, although the doctors who cared about him after the operation said he felt Albert was not determined to die by committing this crime. So he was not thinking about suicide. It was pure, delusional revenge. As I have said, he has been heavily neglected both emotionally and materially. The fact that his mother disappeared without even saying goodbye around the age of 8 or so means the kind of bad relationship between the parents started much earlier. Neglect deprives the subject of the courage to try to make friends and also skills to make friends. So that is why he was quiet all his school days. Also, his elementary school classmate having been lured into shoplifting means partly because he was materially neglected, but also when a kid couldn't get enough love from his mother, he could go for stealing things, and his obsession in general becomes much stronger. So that neglect, which started early on till probably he graduate from high school, including those ran away under the cover of night, he was psychologically lonely all the time. And then he hit that terrible incident of suicides of both his father and his sister. And that became his stressor, trigger, to detach him completely from their society. While he was still living with his family until his graduation of high school, although it was very thin love from his father and could be very thin relationship with his sister and his older brother, he was still placed in this framework. He could continue to everyday life. But once he started to live alone, away from his father and sister, and knowing they both died, his framework was completely gone, within which he had buried keeping himself for a long time. This is pretty much all this information I have. Most of the media and the public believe the cause of crime and offense is right before the incident, but it is not, especially when the subject commits very serious crime. Its seeds are always in early childhood. That has to do with attachment with his mother. however, could not establish solid attachment with his biological mother. So later on, no way for him to be able to establish true connection with the other people. And why this attachment disorder and neglect happened? It's all because of the parents' self-centered life, not thinking about what would happen to their kids at all. Mom and dad were always thinking about themselves and their own interests. They threw away their kids like things, like those families who easily adopted puppies from the shelters before this COVID-19 happens. And once they gotta get back to work, they return it to shelters without even thinking about what would happen to their adopted dogs. This empathy are becoming very thin and weak in society and even within the family. Behind a closed door, we are not sure what is really happening, even if they were provided enough materials and food. It's still highly possible that they are emotionally neglected. There still are many people who are living without causing any trouble, raised under similar childhood environments. No. The biggest difference is either that person was confined within the family of neglect or not, and also how stable that neglect continued and at how high level that neglect was. The level of neglect, consistency, and without outside connections when they were very, very little. That is going to confine the subject within this little box of complete neglect. Those people who didn't act out and live in life as a normal citizen, they had more positive elements in their life, and their parents could have been nice once in a while, took them to movies or parks when they were in good mood. But what is in common with all these subjects who committed the serious crimes? They all say they couldn't think of anything positive that happened in their childhood. Nothing. No good memory. This is the difference. If you have some positive elements, you can live on that. But all of these people who commit the serious crimes, they didn't even have that. So they gotta go all the way. And that is the difference that divides who acts out and who don't act out. So, as a social pathologist, what I would like to emphasize in a nutshell is we as a society intentionally must try to re-establish empathy in society and within each family. This is the conclusion. In this materialistic, self-centered world based on excessively advanced capitalism, all people are self-centered with the ulterior motive, thinking about themselves and their interests only, and kids are even obstacles to their comfortable lives and in their career promotion. We must know, however far our civilization developed, there are certain things that we could not violate as part of the law of nature. And these kids were born ignoring that rule. We all have to work on it together to re-establish it. This is today's conclusion. And thank you for listening to the end. And if you like this kind of serious discussions, please click that red Dr. Sumail logos, and you can also see my best video playlist at the description sections, in which you can find your favorite for sure. Up until next time, please spend a quality time with your loving family members, wherever you are on this same planet Earth. Okay, bye bye now.